Ron, the Sustainable Communities Bill has now passed through all the stages in Parliament and is just roared a cent away from becoming an Act of Parliament. Why do you think this campaign's been particularly successful?
It got thousands and thousands of people everywhere to lobby their MPs, to campaign for their MP, to put pressure on their MPs, to make sure that their MP supported this bill. And secondly, it was consistent. It went on for 5 years. And thirdly, it was on an issue that mattered to people, the death of their communities. And perhaps fourthly, because it empowered people. It wasn't just, let's have a consultation about what the government can do. It was about how your solutions can be put into practice. And that's really very crucial to the whole bill and the whole campaign. It is not about yet another consultation on government action. It's about a mechanism or mechanisms that will enable communities to drive what their councils do and councils to drive what government does. So it turns the whole system upside down. It's government from the bottom upwards for the very first time, and it doesn't achieve all we want, but it's a vital first step to reversing the power structure where everything is decided in Whitehall. Under this Act, everything will not be decided in Whitehall. The policies and the actions to reverse dying communities will be driven from the bottom upwards by communities, by local authorities, and Whitehall government will have a duty, with caveats of course, with a duty to cooperate with the suggestions from communities and councils as to how it can help. So it's not Whitehall saying here's what we're going to do, it's councils and committees saying to government here's what we require you to do.
And is this just mission accomplished, or is there now still more work to be done?
Of course, it's mission accomplished insofar as that it is now an Act, but the real power of the Act will only be realised if people and communities know what there is on the statute book. So the work to be done now is to bring it to people's attention and to mobilise people to take advantage of the new powers in this Act and to get over their cynicism about government consultations, to correct cynicism, and to stress that this is not a consultation exercise. This is an exercise that requires government to cooperate with them and their suggestions. So we've got to explain to people this is a new Act of Parliament, these are new powers that they've never had before. If we can do that, then we can mobilise people throughout the country, as we did in the campaign, to take advantage of the new powers.
And a lot of democracy is already well into its next campaign, the Citizens' Convention Bill, which as of this week's got over 100 MPs signed up to it. What lessons do you think we can learn from the Sustainable Communities Bill that we can apply to this campaign?
I think there are two lessons actually. First lesson is that if you can mobilise citizens on an issue that is relevant to them, people are not apathetic at all, they are very keen to get involved, and that will influence politicians. It's not a question of convincing the great and the good and the chattering classes, it's a question of mobilising citizens, their constituents, to pressurise politicians and ministers to achieve something. That's the first lesson. The second lesson is this. So we've now got a different power structure that's related to community destruction. But why should that only relate to community destruction? Why shouldn't it relate to climate change, to poverty, to health, to schools, to everything? So the Citizens' Convention Bill is the next step. It applies the bottom-up mechanisms of the Sustainable Communities Act to all those other issues and says that citizens should be involved in formulating policy and driving action on all issues that affect them. That's why it's a vital next step to empower people. And so we have a genuinely participative, locally based democracy, not a centralised democracy where Whitehall knows best.
Great.